Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Price, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is my report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Viz, Del Borovic as Morgan Rolls, and Josh Halbot as Gideon Vega. My report shows that the Inquisitorial band are on their way to see the dying Archon. Attikus explained his mindset to Gideon. L1 helped the band's psyker upgrade his mask. Morgan continued her subvocalized chats with the journalist Servitor. And Valentyne is leading the group to the drukhari Citadel. But will they receive access to the gate or a knife in the back? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
They are awakening. Why are they all awakening now? This seems strange. It has been so long. Dolman Gate. You're on your way to the Citadel of Davos Mura, the current Archon of the Cabal of the Bloody Sand. This cabal is in dire straits, having been at the center of a war of succession that you just helped to resolve, both by defeating Sileus, Davos' son, his sponsored cult of witches in the arena, but then also icing that motherfucker when it came to drive a Reaper full of explosives into the factory after losing. Morgan shot him in the head, vehicle exploded. The quest has been set to rest. But in your conversations with Valentia, the Lamian sister of Hewitt, who is the kind of like poisoner representative within the Cabal of the Bloodied Sand, you learned that Davos, despite his victory, has fallen out of favor with a certain someone who knows who, but possibly Vec.
It's trivial.
I don't know. It could be anybody. But has fallen out of favor, having run this sort of clown show too long. So she's in the process of slowly poisoning him in order to wipe the Cabal out altogether. That said, you kind of befriended her in a weird turn of events, essentially coming to a head due to some petty murdery instincts on her part that almost brought you to mutually assured destruction. But then you all walked carefully back from that. It's a little bit like, those classic scenes where someone's like, I've got a gun on you. And then like, look under the table, another gun. It's like, oh, I guess we're friends then, because that's the only way any of us walk away from this.
Yep.
So with all that in mind, you were able to get some rest. You spoke to the artist formerly known as Lizzo Lizardman about the warp gate, and you've enhanced Gideon's mask to allow him greater, if somewhat more unpredictable, channeling of the warp.
Just greater access. That's a slap and a hug of a thing.
There you go. Yes. Slap and a hug indeed. So having rested up, and Valentyne and Morgan, you swapped codes and access things, so you kind of have a mutual backup. And you are now being rushed to the Citadel. Davos was locked off from the Citadel during the War of Succession. Now that he has won, he's allowed back in, but you've been told by Cragstern, the Slith bodyguard, who is the Snake Man, who's been assisting you, that Davos is in poor health, so you're being hurried along. Similar to before, you are brought on to one of these sort of covered Reapers, though this one has the bike escort that you saw on the witch cult, partially because Davos's witch cult doesn't need protection anymore, and also because of the attack last night and his restored position. He has access to resources he didn't previously, and so you kind of fly up through the city towards one of the many massive star scrapers. Again, these aren't quite, they're not quite in the upper city. Davos, the Mura family is ultimately still a mid-level at best kind of family, but it is still impressive how quickly the city falls away beneath you. And as you get a little bit of height, you can just see this kind of awful, sprawling, spiked black landscape in all directions. It's deeply unsettling that all of the horror and chaos and murder that you've experienced is like one city block of this massive interwoven web of awful. Soon enough, you land on a sort of a landing platform balcony and are ushered off of it into the tower itself. Again, the halls here are just dripping with kind of gothic horror vibes. Very heavy metal, very Sauron designed it, or you're, in a scary part of a FromSoft game. Just a lot of metal, a lot of buttresses, a lot of that sort of thing. The floor is shiny and immaculate, but there's still like old ancient blood stains in the marble itself. And it's the kind of place where just every footstep sounds like a fucking hammer cracking glass, echoing off the halls as you stride forward. Except, of course, for Cragstern, who makes like a kind of like slithering,
a slithery sound
thing.
He's a cloth running across glass.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it keeps so shiny. Anyway, you're brought to a large room that is clearly has heavy doors, which are open. And inside is a small sitting room similar to, I only ever see this in movies, but banks where people have like a big secret vault, usually where like, Jason Bourne gets a gun and a passport, or like someone is hiding a diamond or some shit. There's always the little
safety deposit box room.
Yeah,
with
there's always a little antechamber before you go in where you can have a very polite conversation with the usually Swedish banker, who then is like, "Are you sure you want your thing?" You're like, "Yes, I do." And they're like, "We'll leave you alone because you're a big spender." It's that kind of space. Davros, sporting like a mechanical prosthetic leg, is standing there, kind of arms crossed, to meet you, but he's unsteady on his feet. He's wavering a bit. He looks even more gaunt, and you notice that he's in his full armor, but he has a heavy, like a winter cloak, slung over it. It looks a little bit like a badass cape in some light, but another light just looks like a big blanket for a sick boy. So swaying a little bit, but kind of standing on his own 2 feet. Members of the court are there. The Urgal are in the corner, of course. The Medusae is there, aimed at the door, but it's not as furtive right now. It's just kind of scanning quietly. And of course, Valentyne is standing nearby. She's also wearing one of these big, ridiculous cloaks, seemingly in a sign of like, if we both do it, then it's not as clear that you're just very deeply ill. We're just saying it like we need this.
We're both wearing parkas indoors. We don't have a drug problem.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no. We're all, this is the style of the time. So the two of them are standing there, and she doesn't again indicate anything, but there is not Morgan, you don't feel kind of the like weight of attention on you from her that you did.
Yeah. And Morgan would just make eye contact with her, but not sassy or anything. Just like, I give you the cold dead eyes, and we understand each other.
100%.
Valentyne doesn't even look at her. He's going to treat this the same way as if they had never spoken.
Great. And Davros will turn on his voice coder. He'll cough a bunch first and then turn on his voice coder and say, "Mr. Inquisitor, welcome to my citadel. I am sorry I could not entertain you here during our earlier meetings. You had to see the ugly business front of my work instead of the grandeur that my position offers me. I welcome you."
It is an honor to be here, Dreadlord, and it is great to see you returned to ever higher heights of eminence.
Yes, I took a page from your Mr. Punchyman's book and decided to get my legs seen about. I know none of you would have noticed this, but I had lost it in an unfortunate battle earlier, and had, due to the precarious nature of my position, hide it, which I did expertly, I trust.
I would never have known, sir. Not from anything I'd seen.
Of course not. I am very good, but now you can see it is quite majestic and good for crushing enemies, which I hope to do as soon as I am in slightly better health. It would seem the operation took a toll on me. I am a little bit under the weather, but I owe you a debt, and as you probably know from Trinrakai, may he rest in hell.
Trinrakai active in pocket with combi, but yeah.
Just sitting there being like, yeah, I would have said the same thing about him. Just through a combi. I am a man who believes in paying his debts, whether that is losing on an arena fight or allowing a team of Terran weird visitor folk to go and settle a problem for me. But I also mentioned a small gift because I want the word to travel far and wide, that Davos Mura, who long shall rule this cabal, is not only a man of his word, but also is unique amongst the drukhari for his ability to reward those who assist him. I want those in the Imperium to know of my grandeur.
Understood, dread lord. I shall speak of you to all and sundry.
He, wipes his mouth a little bit, and there's a little bit of blood, and he says, shit. Wipes it off on the cloak, and he says, did not know that the leg would do that. That is a problem. Okay, I warn you that, like your Mr. Trinrakai, this is both a gift and a burden. He's a bit chatty, but I suspect, Mr. Inquisitor, based on who you arrived here with, you might want to hear what he has to say. So we will roll him out for you first, and then you may be on your way. And he snaps his fingers, and a different slith guard kind of goes down with a little key, opens the thing, opens a big door, reaches inside, grabs a chain, and pulls a small kind of hovering chair out. And this is very much Imperium tech. It's got all the big, horrible Mechanicus-style gimbaled arms, and you can see that they're working constantly, adjusting knobs, moving things around. And there is a wizened, grizzly old man plugged into this thing. The skin is so sunken on his face that he looks more like a skull than a person. Eyes are kind of deeply pitted. They have large, kind of constantly adjusting lenses over them. His chest is moving up and down. He's got that you can see his rib cage, skin just stretched deeply over it. Deeply liver spotted. Arms and legs are somewhere in this kind of colossal machine, but invisible. And you can see that the machine is working actively, basically doing not the equivalent of CPR and other things. It's really working overdrive to keep this man alive. And just a shock of ancient white hair with kind of tubes and other things sticking out of it. But as the slith pulls him out, there's two sculpted sort of robotic hands that aren't fully, they're enough to gesture and kind of pick things up, but you can tell they're not fully ambulatory arms. Raises a hand and waves the slith off, and then punches something into the chair, and it slides out and shifts towards you. And Davros says, I would like you to meet Galen. I believe he might be an acquaintance of yours by some degree of your own cabal.
Yes, very interesting. Galen! I've been hoping to speak to you for some time.
And turns, adjusts the lenses a bit. And meanwhile, Trinrakai is Galen is here? Interesting. Very interesting.
Interesting how? Valentyne will subvocalize quickly before he goes into this interrogation.
I suspect he didn't go through with it. I bet he ducked out when it all went sideways. What a fucking piece of shit. And Galen says, You are Valentyne, yes.
Yes, I am. How do you know my name, Galen?
Roaches. What do they call a junior inquisitor?
I was an interrogator once.
Interrogator. Valentyne. You are inquisitor now.
Correct. Raised officially by Lord Sabriel Graves.
May I take it to assume that Wilhelm is no longer with us?
He's been dead for some time, along with several of your compatriots.
Yes. Things did get somewhat out of hand, Valentyne. I trust you will have questions. Lord Malantura, I am in no place to escape, and I suspect they will be here about the Dolman Gate. Would you mind giving us some privacy? And Davros turns to Valentyne and says, Well, I don't know. That's really up to my guest. Mr. Valentyne, do you feel comfortable talking to this slab of Terran meat on your own?
Privacy would be appreciated, but I promise to share the most juiciest details with you, Dread Lord, if they will be entertaining.
And he says, I am a bit famished, so yes, if there is, it sounds like he might be a bit upset about how things went, so make sure you capture any sadness he has. I'm a bit peckish and I could use it to, regain my pallor.
I swear to you from the bottom of my heart, he will be feeling worse shortly.
Cool. Okay, I need some more medicine, Valentyne. And she just puts an arm around him, gives a little bow, and ushers him out of the room. The Medusae lingers.
That's fine.
For a moment. And then I think Cragstern just ushers it out. And then nods and closes the door.
Great. L1, if you could make sure that we aren't being discreetly observed.
Of course, I will begin to see exactly how far my reach goes, and moves over to a panel and just starts clicking into things.
Perfect.
Galen, I need to hear the tale of what has come before, but most importantly, what has come in the last 10 years. I do not understand why you are alive, I do not understand why you are here, and I do not understand why I should not shoot you in the head.
Well, Inquisitor, I suspect you are probably more curious than murderous in this particular moment, though admittedly, killing me or letting me live is a matter of semantics at this point. I am barely alive as it stands, and I've kept myself conscious in the hopes that this very occurrence might occur. You will forgive the lack of flowery language. I am very old.
Yes, it seems to take you a lot of effort to expend these words. What is left of the conspiracy? What is their plan? What are they doing?
They will have moved against Terra sometime in the past, if my accounting is correct. Days, perhaps weeks, perhaps months, or it will come soon. But they must move soon. Your path of destruction rather disrupted things for them. Not having Trin Rakai to open their gates, not having their army, made things rather difficult. The influence of Billingberg was quite valuable, as was Vicodin's, if you can believe it. Without them, it is a lot of agendas attempting to salvage what they can. My agenda, of course, is the one that matters, and the one that is currently in play, as was Roach's, as we'd hoped is yours.
Explain.
You are aware of the state of our beloved Emperor, are you not, Valentyne?
What do you believe the state of the Emperor to be?
And he uses the little hands to just point fingies down at himself. Says, not unlike my own, trapped in a chair, rotting. And yes, he keeps the Astronomicon alive, so there must be some remnant of him left.
Yes, and he powers the Imperial Saints, and he sends guiding visions to those of his leaders, and he oversees every single living mortal human in this galaxy. You know, he's busy. I think you've been left in a hole.
You could feed a room full of drukhari with the disappointment that plays across this man's face. Says, oh, he did not fully indoctrinate you into our calls, did
yes,
Roach?
I'm not a member of your cult.
Shit.
Which makes me question whether or not Roach was a member of your cult. This sounds like another petty abandonment, another ploy.
Now he grins. He says, well, no, Roach was most assuredly a true believer. Valentyne, have you encountered the demon yet?
I've encountered many demons, most of them destroyed.
Pandora.
I've heard that name.
All of you feel like a chill. Hearing the names of demons, not great in Warhammer Town.
Oh, okay.
The cabal you speak of the conspirators seeking to kill the Emperor, such as his life is, they have their goals, their new empire. I told them I wanted to build new buildings, and they believed me. Those with hope are easy to manipulate, Valentyne. Maybe you found this in your own quest. Kind of looks at your companions, looks at eternally haunted, wearing like shard mask, no arms, ready to punch him, and like glowering interrogators. Perhaps not. You don't seem like a hopeful bunch.
Yes, I found cold truth to bond people to me more loyally than any false ideals.
Valentyne, Roach, myself, thousands of us have been attempting to bring about the birth of the god of hope for some time, reaching back almost to and like looks at your companion and says, the big event we don't talk about.
They know everything.
Fine, then since the heresy, hope was in short supply then? Emperor stuck in a chair, Primarchs missing, worlds torn asunder. It has taken generations to fan the flames of hope in this galaxy. With the return of the Primarchs, we thought maybe now would be the time. We were getting so close to awakening the god. Roach informed us, me, the others, not of the cabal you seek, but of those who seek to awaken hope, of a rather promising student he had with a cheerful disposition, one who believed every hardship thrust upon him, including the death of his brother, was a gift from the Emperor. We had identified your Eugene as a potential for this, but sadly he died. You were our runner-up, as it were. But Roach had faith in you. He set in motion plans to secret you away, to meet the rest of us, to join us, perhaps even to lead us. He had corpses engineered for you and he, to be found in the wreckage of a vehicle. The Imperium would cease to search for you, and you could come and work your magic with us. But now he is dead, and you are here, and you are speaking of hard truths, and not of hope, though it seems you have met her. Valentyne, my quest is simple. Me and the other optimists, we seek to return hope to the galaxy, to remove this grim darkness that leans over all of us. The birth of Pandora will do this. The Emperor cannot provide hope to us anymore. He is beyond that. She can. She will burn the Imperium to the ground, build it anew. The only thing standing between her victory and this horrible world we have is your decaying corpse on a throne. So I spoke to many hopeful people. I convinced them that we could make a new Imperium if they would just remove this one block. And then they started to die. And now they are moving against the Emperor with all manner of ridiculous ploys. But if you've seen her, then maybe, just maybe, my dream will come true after all.
Say the word, sir. Oh, there are many words to be said. It is interesting to hear your claims. It is interesting to hear the things that you say. It is also staggering, your level of delusion. There was hope discovered at the end of the heresy, even beforehand. The hope that was the Emperor, the hope that was faith, the hope that was the Lectitio Divinitatis, which became the Adeptus Ministorum, the church that carries us all forwards. Hope did not need to become something new. Hope was already there in the Imperium of Man and the Emperor's grand plans. You believe that a demon will give or provide hope. Demons give curses. They give strength that is false. They give 1,000 false promises. They give you nothing that is true, and at the end they just take. And the moment you fail them, or the moment their hunger grows larger, you lose everything. You believe I was going to lead your cult. Well, I am. I'm going to lead them into death. I'm going to lead them into dissolution, and I'm going to lead them into nothing. And you may say that there is only a corpse on a throne standing between you and your goals. And let me tell you right now, there are two things standing between you and that corpse. There is the Emperor, a shining beacon of humanity and hope, and then there are 4 people in this room. and then there is a corpse. And he's going to raise the relic and just smash the Crozius Arcanum through Galen's skull and into his body.
Oh, like a ripe melon. Like nothing, no resistance.
His will be done. And he's going to spit on the corpse. Burn it, he says to Gideon.
Lights it up.
Need you to roll for that one.
Oh.
Attikus got so hyped listening to you say all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he's the Inquisitor. You scum.
Just gonna cross Galen off my sheet here.
Anything else you throw on that, or just normal psyker?
Ooh, I'm throwing an extra red on that.
Fuck. You don't have to.
Someone's listening.
Yep. Okay.
Someone heard hope a lot.
I'm going to spend a story point on that too, because this is the Emperor's righteous vengeance from an oath sworn in a simultaneous combination of determined cheerfulness and absolute holy pious rage.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go.
Yep.
5 successes, 6 advantage, 1 despair.
Whoa!
Of course.
Of
And
course.
we're kicking that up a notch with a little extra 5 on
with
that.
a little extra
Yes,
juice.
5,
Oh,
that's
man.
right.
A little extra juice.
Yeah, hachi-machi.
You couldn't just let him get his head smashed in it. We had to burn him.
Yeah.
All right, so we need perils.
Peris. Plus 5 Peris.
Just when Gideon was starting to feel chill.
How chill is he?
Starting to feel hopeful. He's going to be
Yeah.
fine. He's going to be totally
Nothing
fine.
in this particular moment is chill, so I feel like it's only appropriate.
Toasty
Yeah.
roasty. Toasty roasty.
Okie dokie.
gonna roll 'em?
So we need the D100, I believe.
Just D10.
Oh, G10. Oh, you've got
I
yours
got
right
my
there.
little
All right,
sheet.
beauty.
Yeah, we're
Go
good.
for it.
Okay. Normal, regular old, plus 5. No big deal. Very chill. 8, 13.
What's it do?
Oh, ooh. Okay, fun. Scorching fire bursts from the psyker's skull, creating a blazing pillar that spouts from their head. The psyker suffers a mental trauma.
Whoa! Mental trauma.
What
Is that like a
does
critic?
that mean?
A critical?
Yeah, it's bad.
You get it's like a form of insanity that will affect your behavior
Yes.
moving forwards.
I'm actually in the
That's
section.
fun.
Oh, wow.
Mental trauma.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's cool.
Nifty.
This is a fun little twist.
Yeah. How high does this does this column of flame come up the top
It
of
is
his head?
a blazing pillar. So
Yeah, there's no hard and fast rule for this. So
Yeah, GM has final say.
yeah, they just have examples of stuff. So they've got like night terrors, morbid fascination. I think morbid fascination sounds like the right.
ooh.
Yeah, okay. Gideon, as you watch this ancient heretic burn, you know, you've just watched Valentyne drop a holy relic into his skull. You've heard him speak horrific blasphemy that even with your kind of nascent understanding of the depth of Imperium, like religion and stuff, even just on Greybridge, this still would have been very deeply heretical shit to be saying. You've met the demon. You know she's around. Everything's bad. And I think as you start to burn up this corpse, like a slow smile starts to spread across your face. You find yourself humming a tune you're unfamiliar with, but it's pretty jaunty. But more importantly, as the body burns, you feel such a joy and a release of letting the fire take a heretic that I'm going to say you gain a morbid fascination with torching heretics.
That doesn't sound so bad.
But in a bit of a like...
But we've seen him turn into a pillar of fire out of his
That's
face.
yes, exactly, yes.
So whenever the opportunity to indulge your obsession arises, you must suffer 2 strain to pull yourself away from the object of fascination for the duration of the encounter. Till you do so, you dedicate all maneuvers and action to indulging the obsession until satisfied.
So sorry, I suffer 2 strain to not do it?
Yep.
And then otherwise I just have to do it.
Otherwise,
You're
so
indulging.
Yeah.
So basically, if someone starts spewing heretical nonsense, unless you spend 2 strain, you are going to try and burn that person until
Till
they're dead.
Yep.
No matter who it is or what the situation is.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you guys are good to try and help me keep on track of that, I have a hard time.
Oh, yeah,
Josh
we'll
has a hard
be
time
able to keep an eye on that,
remembering
yeah.
exactly what's heretical and what's not. But
Well, I think it's also going to be very much in Gideon's flavor
Yes.
of what that is, because
Yeah.
it's going to be his version of a heretic, not a universal one.
Sure.
Because he's had a Greybridge understanding of like what's pushing the limits and what's not so far.
sure.
Now, you can try and remove your mental trauma by staring it in the face, essentially.
Okay.
So they can recover from the mental traumas by staring fear unflinchingly in the face. A triumph on a successful fear check can be spent to remove 1 level of mental trauma, so long as the trauma's thing is equal, blah, blah, blah.
So if he rolls a triumph, either trying to burn someone or on a fear check, he can get braver.
Correct. And I think what I'd probably say to this is I think I'm going to house rule this to be like, if you spend the stress to dodge your trauma, you can roll a fear check.
Sure.
Because that's like, I see the fire in my hands. I see the person in front of me. I want to destroy it. If you're taking the strain to not do it, I would treat that as like
Creates an opportunity to.
I am staring my fear in the face. I must make a decision about this.
Sure.
I think, yeah.
And that's a fear check, which is just...
What's the difficulty on the fear check?
yeah.
Just so we know.
So
Or will that
it's-
depend on circumstance?
Well, it's easy is the result. So it's a purple, but you need to roll triumph.
You know,
Yeah, that makes sense.
What skill
think
do
it's
we
discipline.
use?
Fear is
roll?
discipline.
Oh, okay.
Discipline.
Fear
yeah.
checks are always
Discipline?
discipline.
Oh, okay. That's...
Yeah.
There's
Makes
there's
sense.
possibilities
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we just watch him turn into a pillar of unholy fire, both personally and in the body.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because you're in this vault room, I mean, unfortunately for me, fortunately for you, no one sees it and there's nothing to burn because it's a vault room. So everything is like fireproofed and also it'll leave scorch marks on like the metal ceiling and stuff, but it's not
Our gift
if you're in
from
a
humanity.
library or something,
Yeah.
like bad news,
Right.
but here you just light up. I don't know if any of you have reactions to watching that happen, but otherwise that's what goes down.
Yeah, I think Morgan would definitely flinch away. She's been set on fire by this man multiple times.
Attikus moves to kill Gideon and looks to Valentyne.
Valentyne, it's standing there watching this burn, watching Gideon burn, but seeing that the fire is vertical and the intensity of what is coming off of Gideon is also completely fucking obliterating this corpse with that roll. He's just going to shake his head no. Valentyne is unflinching, standing a foot from these flames, does not move.
Yeah, and I think we can say that like as you are a pillar of flame, fire's coming out of you. The only thing that's visible is like the spiked mask, just sort of jet black through the flames. As the flames recede, there's just a scorched metal chair. The servos and things in it are broken. What little organic matter was there has burned away.
I will flag this for all of you. Obviously, we are now at war with both the demonic entity and multiple cults. Apparently, these so-called optimists are involved. Again, this is a demon. This is not a god, and they are not feeding on hope. I'm enhancing my theories the more information that I have upon this. But the thing that I need you all to know is we may, based on this discussion, discover Inquisitor Wilhelm Roach, the one who trained me. If that is so, because he apparently was planning on faking his death, and I have limited memory about the warp breach that brought things about, I had only seen his corpse. I did not see the method of death that took place. We may find him. If we do, he is extremis diabolus. He is a traitor inquisitor. In the minds of all of you, you need to know that he has no rank. He may have convinced people otherwise. This is a delusion. This is a lie. They are likely optimists or have been corrupted or co-opted. We will be the death of this conspiracy. If Inquisitor Wilhelm Roach still exists, he is excommunicat traitoris, and we will cast his soul into the nothingness it deserves.
Is it execution on sight, sir?
I have no further questions for this man. He has created this. I doubt we will be in a situation where we will have a choice one way or the other.
All I need is the likeness, then.
Tom, this is a question that would be based on Valentyne's history that we have not locked at this point. Wilhelm, psyker or no?
Yes.
Oh, I'd said that he scanned me. So yes, he's a psyker. Kill on sight. We don't have a psyker that's capable of shutting down a psyker, so Valentyne would take the team's overall effectiveness at killing this target, because he sounds more dangerous than the rest of the conspiracy that remains at this point, over some attempt at interrogation. Kill on sight, unhesitated, unflinchingly. No matter what he promises you, we do not need it. He is lying.
Do you have a likeness, sir? I want to see him and kill him right away.
Yeah, he'll be able to show that on the data slate from his memory and also just from Inquisitorial files. He's not sure he'll be there, but he would flag that our goal is the throne. It is us between the throne and this god. We will achieve our goals. We'll collect any other holy relics we can from Mars or anywhere else. We will be prepared to engage with this demon.
Understood.
I will not hesitate to execute someone who had slandered the good name of the Inquisition. Morgan says, eyes glittering like, I told you no Inquisitor's a good boy. What am I saying?
Valentyne reading that tone is like, Lord Inquisitor Sabriel Graves. He's going to reply with the guy who gave him legitimate authority, who's also the boss Inquisitor.
That is true.
Valentyne
is true. He's the
is
Lord
working
Inquisitor.
one level down. These are just like random shitheels out in the galaxy that he's got a problem with. But they may have already assaulted. They may have moved quickly. Galen is eliminated, but he was already out of the game. We need to move quickly. We need to get to the Archon. We need to get to the gate, and we need to get to Mars.
So after an appropriate amount of time, the doors open, or if you open the doors.
Yeah, we're just going now.
And
Got time to waste.
Davros comes back in. Now he's using his sword like a cane, and it's like scratching the ground as he walks and dulling the tip. And he just clearly is not fully paying attention. His eyes are a little bit more glassy and manic. And he looks at the burnt chair and he goes, "Oh, I've wanted to do that to this guy for quite some time. This is a very pleasing turn of events. Tell me, was he upset with the news you brought him?" Turns to the camera guy.
Brutally devastated.
Lovely. Do you have any more details? There's not really enough for food for me.
Oh, he believed that I was going to become the hope of his entire cult movement, and in the end I destroyed the conspiracy, hunted down his friends, killed theoretically my own master, or my own master died, and in the end he will receive nothing, and I will take from him everything in the name of a god he hates.
Oh, that's pretty good. I wish we'd got that on camera. That would be tasty. But this is fine. I will take what this was. And he just nods. Nods to Cragster, and Cragster goes in and like grabs the chair with his forearms, just drags it out of the room. Says, "Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the gifts I have rendered you, Mr. Inquisitor. I do believe it is time for you to be on your way to your Dolman gate."
I wholeheartedly agree.
"Wonderful. Follow me." And he falls on his face. Oh. And Valencia, now looking a little bit sheepish, like, "You will have to excuse the Archon. He is not feeling well. It's something to do with the leg implant." And she gives all of you kind of like a fuck look, and then like helps get him on his feet. "Well, that's embarrassing. Pay no mind to that. My superior physique is just adapting to this new terrible prosthetic. Maybe I should have had one of your Imperium ones installed instead. Your arm seems to have healed quite well, Mr. Punch. Okay, this way." And he's like staggering, like bouncing off the walls as he leads you deeper into this vault.
Valentyne would duck under an arm to help him walk with the rest of the group.
"Oh, I see you need support to get through my wondrous palace, Mr. Inquisitor. I will happily prop you up. Thank you."
Happy to assist, Archon. Here, let me free your hand. He'll take the Archon sword and hand it to Gideon, who currently does not have a sword. So I can do that to just free the Archon up to help carry him down towards the gate. Also, we'll see if we can steal this guy's sword.
So he leads you down like a few hallways, because this is a deep vault. And then you approach very much in like a British museum kind of way. There's like a slab of stone that has been extracted from somewhere. That the Dolman Gate is built into. So Dolman Gate is very Stargate-y in appearance. It's kind of in that classic Necron architecture of sort of the cold black stone with the big green glowing stones in it. And sort of a triangular ramp leads up to it with a massive Ankh insignia in it. That said, the ramp and sort of the base structure is a little bit damaged by wherever this was transplanted from. And walking in, he goes up to it, and with his metal leg, he just cranks it back and fucking kicks this thing. He says, "You have to show it who's boss, or else it doesn't listen. Wake up, dummy!" And the stones begin to shimmer a bit, and through Jeffrey, L1, not the Archoflagellant, Toby, and Eugene, a voice says kind of in unison through all of these, "Who dares awaken me?"
Valentyne's just going to crank open Trin Rakai and hold it up.
We're at the gate. Please deal with the thing talking to us through the robots.
"Hello, gate. It's me, Trin Rakai. I'm the one who found you, the one who dug you out of the pit you were in, and the one who helped you reconnect with your fellow network. Do you recognize my voice?" And the stones in the gate shimmer a bit. Just stone-to-stone conversation at this point.
Weirdest laugh. I love that.
And it's just like, I brought my rock to talk to your rock.
Just pet rocks hanging out.
We all got rocks, it's fine. We're
Kind of like the
leaders.
Ernie laugh.
Yeah.
Sesame Street.
All mouth sound laugh is the best.
Oh, jeez.
It's Del snorts with her mouth.
So
It's
good.
amazing.
Particular, it's just
Yeah.
All right, let it ride.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Stone on stone violence. Let's do this. Knock 3 times.
Yeah. Let's speak rock to rock
Thank you. I'm
here.
sorry, Tom.
Yeah, no, it's all
I'm
good.
enjoying myself.
Yep. That's certainly allowed at the table.
Good, yeah.
The gate responds, "Yes, Trin Rakai. Do you have any understanding as to why my paired gate was moved, nor why they are awake now?" And if a stone could shrug, Trin Rakai says, "No, I'm stuck in a soul stone. This gentleman murdered me, so no, I don't know what is happening in your linked gate on Mars, but we would like to find out. Can you turn on so we can go there? We will, I promise, I swear on my body and soul that we will help you reconnect your gate and discover whatever the fuck you're worried about. Just please turn on as per our arrangement." And the stones kind of shimmer briefly, and then, oh baby, it gets real Stargatey. Just energy starts to coalesce into kind of a shimmering silver, spackled, like little waves and ripples, kind of across the silvery sheen. And Trin says, "Also, these guys are really paranoid, so if you could just tell them where this goes, so that they know I'm not fucking with them, that would be ideal." And the gate says, "I am linked to what you call Mars, the red planet. Is that where you seek to go?"
Yes, please.
And Davros, now like foaming at the mouth a little bit, just says, "Well, I held up my end of the bargain. I believe this makes us even. Spread the word of my glory to all and any who will listen." He starts to like slump down a little bit on one knee. "To any who will listen for Valentia, I do not feel well." And she just leans over and just like takes his chin in her hand and whispers, "It was me," and just shoves him over. The Slith guard is like, "Huh?" And she just turns and smiles and gives you guys a little wave and says, "You should be going. This is going to get rather messy."
Valentyne's just going to start ushering the servitors through.
Yes.
And then his fellows, and Valentyne will go last.
Yep.
Yeah, and as you kind of like look over your shoulder going through, you see her just like smile and just uncork a thing, just waving around in front of her like she's doing a scenting sample. And immediately the Slith guards just start screaming and coiling, their skin burning, and she just begins to cackle, running off into the palace. And with that, you step through the gate, leaving the dark city and its horrors behind, and stepping into new ones as you move through the shimmering liquid and out of the other side of the Dolman Gate. This feels just similar to the webway. Like it feels wet when you step into it, but you emerge dry from the other side. And you step into a large, blessedly imperial structure with alarms blaring, blood staining the walls, and a bunch of caskets along either wall of kind of a horrible black metal, a number of overturned tables. You see dead Mechanicus around you, and you hear the slow stomp of metallic feet as a Necron soldier turns sort of through the doorway and lets out kind of a horrific metallic shriek as it raises its gun.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features the voices of players Ryan LaPlante, Tyler Hewitt, Josh Halbot, and Del Borovic, alongside Game Master Tom McGee. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC.com. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum-Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: George Dolby, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Alarain Okapi, Madre de Gatos, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dia De Los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Kai Koa, Squire Solaire, Sandy Sassy Pants, Amira Lockhart, James Molina, Nick Hemsing, Alex LaFountain, Nikki Blake, Seth Cambron, Corpse Knight Silver, Adamir 101, The Dankler, Anticore 7, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.